Large institutions are going to be forced to adopt XRP. Guys, in this video, I want to show you exactly why the largest governments and institutions out there are absolutely going to need to adopt blockchain technology and why Ripple and XRP are going to be at the top of their list. I also want to show you that these institutions are telling you this themselves. This is not retail speculation. At the end of the video, though, I want to talk about something absolutely massive taking place Wednesday that you need to know about. Make sure you stick around for that. You are not going to want to miss it. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two things really do mean so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video out and show you exactly why the largest institutions on Earth absolutely are going to adopt technologies like the XRP ledger. And guys, this is not just my speculation. They are literally saying this verbatim. I want to play you the beginning of this clip just to show you guys this is literally happening right now. But then I want to explain to you why it's so important. Because it's actually so simple why these large institutions are going to need Ripple and XRP. And a lot of people completely overlook this key thing. Listen up to this and then we're going to break it down.
So have you collaborated with any private company for blockchain technology like Ripple? With what is the digital euro backed with? So it's actually two questions. So first of all, the digital euro is central bank money. It's a stable coin, I think, in its most clear form. If we then talk about the technology providers, this is something that we are still actually non-decided on. So
a lot of us, but the key thing to focus on is the fact that she's clearly saying there's going to be a technology provider. This is one of the things I have been trying to hammer home on this channel. These large governments are not going to build their own solutions. That's not what they do. They don't create technology. They don't have the engineers to do that. Instead, they're going to adopt technology that already exists. They are going to reach out to the private sector and say, hey, build us this thing. We don't know how to build it. And who has been working with the governments and large institutions since day one? Well, it's been Ripple. Their focus has always been, hey, we're not going to disrupt the governments. We're not going to disrupt the large institutions. We're going to work with them because we understand they need this technology. You're the government saying right here, hey, we're adopting this technology. We're just not going to tell you who we're working with. Guys, for a lot of people in crypto, they're sitting there scratching their head. Oh, who are they going to work with? But we have been studying this from the beginning. We understand that Ripple has been working with the ECB specifically. That's where the lady who is talking in this video works at. And obviously, Ripple has to be at least at the top of their list for technology providers they're going to choose. Now, who's another technology provider they might choose? Well, maybe R3. But R3 doesn't even have a digital asset on their platform. So they could adopt R3, but still need something like XRP or Ripple services in combination with one of R3 solutions. Funny enough, a lot of times when we look at documentation, the documentation for these specific projects say R3 Ripple / XRP. Maybe it's some level of combination between these platforms that a lot of these institutions are moving towards. But it doesn't really matter because the key thing here is that they are adopting private company solutions to solve these problems. They're not building them themselves. And Ripple has been one of the companies who has been choosing to work with the institutions since the beginning rather than against them. Guys, this is a massive confirmation that our thesis has been correct. That our thesis that the large governments and institutions are going to adopt technologies like the XRP ledger is playing out right in front of our eyes. For a while, we didn't know whether or not these governments were going to go out and build their own solutions. I speculated not because most governments can't even build their own website, but this is stuff that a lot of people were really concerned about. And what we are seeing now is they are literally directly telling you we are going to be adopting service providers already in the market today to build out these solutions. And is it just a coincidence that Ripple was specifically asked? Guys, who knows? But what we know is Ripple is really an obvious choice for most of these institutions. Now, guys, this just goes to the speculation on what we've seen with the Federal Reserve for a while. Ripple was meeting with the Federal Reserve since 2013. They were working on their faster payment task force, and we have seen multiple times Ripple show up in documentation. Guys, is it that crazy to think that the Federal Reserve understands that there's going to be a blockchain future? Well, no, not really, because right now the Federal Reserve is publishing papers that specifically say there is going to be a settlement service at the Federal Reserve that extends to capabilities of DLT. Well, guys, Ripple was meeting with the Federal Reserve in 2013. Ripple has done projects with the Federal Reserve, and Ripple has always been a institutionally focused cryptocurrency company. So I don't think it's that hard to see the big picture here. Ripple is working with these institutions from the beginning because they understood these institutions were ultimately going to need a DLT strategy. Ripple partnered with them early on to build up trust, and that way when they ultimately adopted a solution, Ripple would be at the top of their list. Guys, what we are understanding now is these governments are not building their own in-house solutions. They're going to adopt the private sector. And I don't think it's that hard to understand that Ripple is going to be one of the key companies in the private sector these institutions are going to look to first. Guys, in my eyes, this is massive confirmation that Ripple is going to be a massive part of the next generation financial system. And as we continue to see regulations roll out, I think it is going to be more and more obvious to the average investor out there. Guys, I want to move on and talk about something real quick that I believe is really exciting. It looks like Coinbase is actually going after Gary Gensler pretty hard now. They are trying to get access to Gary Gensler's private emails. I don't know what's going to develop from this, but I will say one thing real quick. Gary Gensler used to be at the CFTC. He ultimately ran from the CFTC before his term was over because he was essentially getting cracked down on in that position. We're kind of seeing that same exact thing happen right now with him at the SEC. And if these private emails become a big enough issue, I think it's possible he steps down from the SEC before his term is over. I just wanted to bring this to your attention because the sooner Gary Gensler steps down, the sooner we have a possibility where the SEC cannot appeal the Ripple SEC case. If Gary Gensler is gone from the SEC, I am 1000% sure there will be no appeal in the Ripple SEC case. So this is certainly something we are going to have to keep our eye on, and it would be massively beneficial to the entire cryptocurrency industry if we could be living in a world where Gary Gensler was not constantly attacking the industry. It could actually put us in a win-win election scenario where regardless of who wins, Democrats or Republicans, we could have a pro-cryptocurrency chair regardless. What we know is right now we are seeing a massive push by Democrats to appear pro-cryptocurrency. Actually, Brad Garlinghouse just announced that he's going to be going to Ro Khanna's event where they're going to be talking about the future of blockchain technology. Ro Khanna is a prominent Democratic leader. Now, guys, the entire Democratic Party is still pretty anti-cryptocurrency from the top. But it's starting to become obvious that anti-crypto is a really bad stance to take. It's not good politically. So if we could see things like Gary Gensler ousted and a lot of these smaller members in the Democratic Party coming up and saying, hey, we need to switch our views on this thing, we could actually be in a win-win scenario where both parties are pushing for clear cryptocurrency regulation. Now, I still think we're a far ways off from that, and I still think right now the Republican Party would be a lot better for cryptocurrencies going forward, but it's much better to be in a win-win position where regardless of what happens, both parties are pushing for the benefit of this industry. And ultimately, this is what we want. We don't want this to become a political issue. We don't want this to become a thing where one party wants it and the other party doesn't. It doesn't make sense. We wouldn't want that with the internet. It doesn't make sense for the internet to be a Republican thing and not a Democrat thing, right? They should just get along and realize that blockchain technology is the future of finance and there's no party issues here. We just need regulations around it. So I am very, very happy to see Democrats now holding events and inviting people like Brad Garlinghouse there to really develop an understanding of the industry. But guys, the massive thing taking place Wednesday that you absolutely need to know about is we are getting a vote on whether or not we will repeal Biden's veto of SAB 121. So let me just go through this real quick because it's important. SAB 121 was a bulletin posted by Gary Gensler that made it impossible for financial institutions to interact with the cryptocurrency industry. Congress voted to overturn that. So it got rid of SAB 121, allowing financial institutions to interact with crypto. But then Biden actually vetoed the appeal. So once again, institutions couldn't interact with cryptocurrency. Now we are having a vote on Wednesday to overturn Biden's appeal and once again make it possible for financial institutions to interact with cryptocurrencies. Guys, I know there was a lot going on there. I know it was probably complicated, but ultimately, if the vote passes this Wednesday, large financial banks in the United States will actually able to interact with the cryptocurrency industry. Guys, we are going to need a lot of Democrats to vote in favor of overturning this, and I actually think there's a chance we get it. Right now, Democrats are in a really bad position where a lot of them understand they need to be pro-cryptocurrency or they're going to lose a large majority of their base, but they need to go against the president in order to do that. This is going to be a highly interesting vote, and we're really going to see where Democrats stand on the cryptocurrency issue on Wednesday. Guys, if we can get SAB 121 actually taken out of effect and large institutions be able to interact with the cryptocurrency industry because of a supermajority vote through Congress, which this is what this would be a huge win for the cryptocurrency industry, and I think get us a massive step closer to bipartisan support. Ultimately, this is the win-win scenario we were talking about earlier. This is the scenario where the cryptocurrency industry wins no matter what, and we move forward with pro-cryptocurrency regulations in the very near future. This is what I want to see take place. And guys, this Wednesday, we are going to get a massive piece of insight on how close we ultimately are to cryptocurrencies becoming the base layer for the new financial system. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.